ये रेडियो पाकिस्तान पॉडकास्ट है।
Hello and welcome to our special broadcast on World Radio Day today. This is 13th February and we celebrate World Radio Day. I'm your host Imad Kasir on Planet FM 87.6. And today we celebrate a medium that has connected and that has informed generations across the globe. And as we know that technology evolve at an incredible pace, yet the essence of radio is purely human. Its essence is human voice. And artificial intelligence, as we all know, that through this we create content and we modify content. There are tools available, but as I mentioned earlier, that radio is something that is basically connected with human voice. And as we know that our theme for this year is radio and AI, so for this special broadcast, we have invited a very special guest to our studios, and we all know her. She is Joveria Rubab, and she is an accomplished research scholar with 4 published articles research, and she is a dynamic professional with her specialization in AI and cybersecurity. She is currently working at HR at NUST. So welcome to the show, Ma'am Joveria.
Thank you so much, Imad. It is a pleasure to be at your show.
Thank you very much once again. So tell us, how do you see radio and AI?
All right, radio has a long history. Of course, it was invented back in 1890s, and it has been used across generations, and especially it has been very helpful in world wars as well. Then later on, it was used to disseminate information. Of course, the dependence on radio has been changing over the period of time with the advent of television, with the advent of internet. But as you have mentioned initially as well, that the human factor which is present in radio cannot be negated or cannot be erased, as we have seen in television as well, and as we have seen in the entertainment industry, that the actors are not being replaced by their clones or their cartoons. Similarly, of course, there are tools that can clone the voice of a human being as well. And but you know, like right now, me and you are talking, I can read your expressions, you can read my expressions, and the voice also has a specific expressions. When there are certain kind of words that I need to know that this is the word that needs emphasis, or this is the word that needs less emphasis. So in that way, of course, the human factor is missing, and as the technology has expanded, but the presence of radio has not gone, or it has not been wiped off completely, because a lot of people travel. There are a lot of areas where we do not have any kind of access to internet, so the only source of information at that particular time is radio. And when people are traveling across the country, may it be Pakistan, may it be another country, if you look at Saudi Arabia, the length between 2 cities is like 2,000 kilometers. So sometimes people get bored. They don't want to listen to songs. There is no internet available. Of course, the Spotify works on internet. You do have an access of playing songs which are present in your USB. But then again, sometimes you need to know what is happening around in the world. Then the easiest and the most safest way for information is radio. And then some interesting, there are some shows which are very interesting. People are disseminating information. For example, I'm traveling to my office every day. It takes me around 40 to 30 minutes to travel from my home to office, and that's about 1 hour or 10 minutes of empty time. So I can utilize that time by listening to some show which actually is interesting to me. And every day, what generally is the pattern of radio is that you invite different kind of guests who have different insights. Of course, if it is going to be just robots, then people are not going to listen to it, because if they get the same content on their computers, if they get the same content in the books, if they get the same content while they're listening, so they're going to get bored. So yeah, of course, technology does ask you to upgrade yourself, but it is not completely going to replace it.
It is not going to replace it. And let our listeners know, how can AI help supporting in creativity without dominating that human factor?
All right, but I personally believe that creativity is something which is actually innate to human minds. AI in itself, we are moving towards super intelligence. We are also moving towards general intelligence. But if you see over the period of time, over the centuries, how human beings have been creating new things. For example, if we look at an aeroplane, it was created when Wright brothers saw a bird flying. So they were actually inspired by nature.
Absolutely.
Similarly, if you look at a mosquito, the example of mosquito is also given in our holy book. And at that time, people were like, why would God be giving an example of a mosquito? But now when the science has advanced, and now when we look at a mosquito, we see that it has 1,000 eyes, it has 3 wings, 3 hearts, a lot of things in that tiny little creature. So creativity basically, in my opinion, it actually initiates from nature. And when we talk about AI, it cannot look around. It does not have eyes, it does not have feelings. So the creativity, I believe, which we are, it can be an assistant. It can help you create content. It can help you in finding ideas. But which idea to choose, how to tweak that idea, how to innovate that idea, I believe that still lies with human brain, and it should lie with human brain. We should not be completely dependent on machines or completely dependent on artificial intelligence for us to even make creativity. Even the thought of it is very horrifying. Okay, you can use it for assistance, you can use it for helping you out, but if we get completely dependent on it, then actually we would be producing a generation of maybe dumb people, or maybe cartoons, or maybe dummies who actually don't know what to do. Right now, when we are saying that this is a robot and it does not know how to think, but if we keep on being dependent on that particular robot, then the generation that we are raising right now may be a generation of robots which does not even know what is problem solving, which does not know what is critical thinking, which does not know what is creativity. So I personally believe that when we talk about artificial intelligence, then it actually demands the human beings to be more critical thinker, to be more analytical thinker, to be more problem solvers, to be more creative, and with the help of AI, because the time that we used to spend on like reading books and getting the ideas and getting the concepts, that has been we can give that particular what should I say, we should give that robotic tasks to the machines so that they can read for us and give us the points, and then using all those points, we should be the one creating something new, innovating it and coming up with a new idea. So that's
right.
how
So
I
you
believe.
think that human voice and that human factor is replaceable, is not replaceable?
It's
in
not
fact,
replaceable, no.
it can't be replaced.
No.
However, do you still think that is there any risk to radio and losing its soul to AI or technology?
Yes, there is a risk. Of course, as you have seen, the first jobs to get eradicated were of customer support. But then again, again, this is my personal opinion, because generally nowadays people, they would point out that no, she's wrong. So in my personal opinion, I believe when we talk about technology, we need to look at the cultural context of that particular area. Now, when we are celebrating the World Radio Day, we are sitting inside Pakistan, basically Asia. So if you look at the cultural dynamics of Asia compared to West, and of course we're a third world country, it will take us, if I say down the line, it will take 10 years for the Western world to adapt AI and convert all the jobs onto AI. It will take another 30 years for us South Asians to, convert all those jobs. But then again, if we talk about our own cultural context, you might have seen that human element, empathetic element, culturally, we South Asians, we Asians rather, even I believe Chinese and Russians, we are more connected people. We like the human aspect in our lives. we have seen lesser of a nuclear family system in Pakistan. It is there, it is increasing as well, and it is increasing at a rapid rate. But then again, there are a lot of joint families as well. People like to stay connected. Even if they are staying in separate homes, they like to keep their homes together. They like to, buy homes in one street, all the brothers and sisters, because we like the human element. We like the human presence in our life. There are very few options. We have seen, we have been witnessing in West from past 30 to 40 years that people live in a flat and they die in that flat, and no one notices after 40-30 days when they feel a foul smell coming out of that flat. Then they're like, oh my god, someone died, and people even don't know who died. But in Pakistan, that's generally not the case. We just had one case of a celebrity. I don't want to mention it again, but that's a one rare case, 1 in a million case. So generally in Pakistan, if even our friend does not pick up the phone, we keep on calling our friend, or maybe we call the neighbors of that particular friend, that our friend is not responding to us. Is that person fine? So the human element in our cultural area is more, and we like the human touch. We like to be less dependent on machines. So I believe in our cultural aspect of, or in our dynamics of this South Asian belt. So the human element is more required when it comes to radio. It may be completely replaceable in West, but then again, I don't think so that all the Westerners or all the people living in Europe or USA are comfortable in listening to AI assisted voices or in listening to cloned voices. They would also like a human touch. It can of course vary, but if I talk about if I draw a comparison, I believe that 70 to 80% of Asians would more want to listen to a human being rather than a machine. Similarly, if I talk about West, maybe the ratio is lesser, 40 to 50%, but still people would want to listen to a human being rather than a machine.
People would always want to listen to human voice. So tell us that how can the broadcasters, how can these radio people, they keep empathy alive in that AI assisted programs? What's your opinion on that?
Okay, if the broadcasters actually learn how to integrate AI and how to use those systems which are actually creating those voice assistants, because nowadays coding is not hard. Nowadays making programs is not hard. You just need a course of 6 or 4 months to learn to make automated systems using artificial intelligence. And then you can of course create your own program. So while if you are well versed enough, if you are equipped enough that you are creating your own AI assisted program, then you can try to train your model on empathy as well, on moral values as well, on ethics as well. But then again, it is a training. When a human being is talking, when we are having a discussion, then my mind is working in all the directions. I have a lot of senses. AI cannot replicate all those senses. I can see, I can touch, I can smell, I can feel the environment around, and I can tweak my conversation according to that particular environment. If I provide so many actuators, basically the sensors and actuators are added with a robotic machine to think like a human being or talk or walk like a human being, then it becomes very expensive, of course. And then that much amount of data, it requires big server rooms, big data processing rooms, and in order to cool down those data rooms, we generally need a lot of water as well and a lot of electricity. So in itself, it's a very big hassle. You can use it to make your content more creative. You can use it as a research, but completely being dependent and completely making a robot talk with a human being, and 2 robots talk and just give them a pattern of questions. Of course, whenever we are creating a show, you talked to me earlier, you gave me a topic, and I was given some questions, but of course I would not memorize those questions. I would add my element in it, you would add your element in it. When we talk, then we can have a conversation on a lot of topics rather than just focusing on one point.
So you mean that AI will always keep on assisting us, but that human element and addition of that human thought, that should always remain there. Yeah. And when we talk about radio in particular, so that human element cannot be eliminated.
I think it is our ethical responsibility to not eliminate it.
Of course, and that's what we want to know, and that's why we have invited you to enlighten us, because you are an expert in AI, and we from the radio's perspective, we just want to know that what lessons, like we used to listen to radio programs in the past, and now we are having this podcast and people are watching us on their screens. So this is a technology shift. So what do you think that in future with this AI, what lessons should radio learn to keep up to that pace?
Okay, if we talk about that, if AI can replace human beings, yes, it can. If we talk about that, can it clone my voice? Yes, it can. If it can talk like a human being, yes, it can. All the things can be done. But the thing is that we as human beings, we as professionals, if you have a profession in radio, then it is your moral and ethical responsibility to keep the system alive and keep the human element in. It is everyone's ethical responsibility to use it in a way that it does not overpowers us. We should be the one controlling the machines. The machines should not be the one controlling us. So we should be using them as our assistants, and this is what I keep on telling people as well wherever I go, that use it as your assistant. It is not that, and the fact is that it can actually overtake and overpower everything. It can actually clone everything, and everything can be done. Like right now, I could just if an assignment is given to me by my boss, for example, like I just ask AI to I actually work in automations in the HR side of NUST. So for example, if you have to design a new system, in order to gather the user requirements, rather than asking my friends around, I can just give that command to ChatGPT, and it can actually create a lot of user requirements for me for that particular system, and I can get the system designed on those requirements. But will it fulfill the purpose that was supposed to be fulfilled? No, because I did not get the human element at the end of the day. Who is going to listen to that radio? Who are the end users? Who is going to be on the listening side? It is going to be human beings. If we take out that element, and if I make my own radio channel and train a system and train a model and ask it to start talking on some specific topics and different cloned voices, so am I doing justice to my listeners? No, because I've actually eradicated the entire concept of a human being. And maybe when my audience find out that this particular program is just based on a AI robot and a AI bot, and that bot is just doing that particular show, then I might lose my interest as well, because I know that it is not going to have any kind of new ideas. It will just be having the same kind of information that I can find on ChatGPT, that I can find on any large language model, because I want to listen to a new element. I want to listen to someone's thoughts. I want to I want to have a heart-to-heart discussion, and I want to learn something from experience and everything. Because when human beings talk, they have their own experience as well. Like whenever I'm talking, I'm saying that in my opinion may differ from someone else's opinion.
However, it is your opinion, and clubbed with emotion. That
Emotion,
emotion
yes.
stuff that is
That is
not
important.
there.
And if you give one command, or if you give one question to ChatGPT, to DeepSeek, to Perplexity, and if you compare the answers, it's like only the difference is of 8 to 10.
Yes, they are almost the same.
They're almost the same.
So
Which I've tested a lot of times. But if you ask me, if I ask another person, our opinion would be different. Our answer would be different. Even a simple question, that is AI going to take over the world? The question will be like, if it is posed to a lot of people, it will be different from everyone. So that's what creativity is. That's what critical thinking is. That is why we are born. That's how we were created. And that's the purpose of our creation. So if we basically kill that purpose, then I believe the human beings would stop existing.
you mentioned that that's why we all are created, and we all are unique, and
Yes.
that's what makes us above that AI, and you rightly mentioned that we are the masters, we have created it, so it shouldn't direct us, it should only assist us.
Right. Yes.
So
yes.
that's perfectly fine. And when we talk about radio, that cultural programs and storytelling, we have a key focus on these areas. So do you think that AI can assist us in storytelling and these cultural programming?
Okay, now culture is something which is, relevant to the human beings themselves, the demographics themselves. If I ask AI that, give me a guideline on KPK's culture, and I ask, I get a survey from 10 to 15 people who are actually living in KPK and who have actually witnessed the different cultural dynamics of that particular area, then AI is also going to give me a good insight, because it is going to copy from a lot of literature, from a lot of books, from videos, and maybe if we talk about the paid versions, it is going to take information from everywhere that is present on the internet. But then again, there is a lot of information that is not present on the internet. If I ask my grandmother about a story, that is her story to tell. That is her experience, which is not present in any internet, which is not present in any world. Then that particular experience in itself holds a value. That is about 80 to 90. Now she has passed away, but that is an experience of 80 to 90 years, which cannot be cloned in any book, in any literature paper, in any research paper. So when we study about, you have seen anthropologists, and you have seen these people go out in the deserts. Of course, the remains and the archives and these things cannot be found in books, so they have to go on the site. So when we talk about culture, then we need to, human beings are an important element of that particular culture, so we cannot just eradicate them. What we can do is we can ask AI that I need to have a cultural study on this particular areas, give me ideas which way I can best get those ideas. Then it is going to give you a checklist of ideas that, okay, you can talk to people, you can visit the sites, you can go to this video, and then of course you can get a checklist, you can get the starters. It can also make you a very good presentation. It can help you in designing that presentation as well. Maybe it can help you designing a video for that as well, if you provide it with some pictures, which is going to take very less amount of time as if you're going to edit the video yourself. But then again, you would like to get an input from the people who are actually living in that particular culture. So yeah.
Right. And this is really insightful. And what is your message on this World Radio Day today that's being celebrated today? So what would be your message to our listeners and viewers?
Okay, radio basically signifies literature. It signifies literary understanding of inception of a particular how should I say, wide stream media. So I believe that we all have become very distant from literature, especially the generation that is coming. If I talk about my own son, I want him to read books. I want him to focus on literature and on things that actually can give him, can actually instill the creativity, instill the critical thinking, instill the problem solving, and all these kind of things in him. But unfortunately, with the advent of reels and all that kind of cultures, the kids are also distant from these things. So I believe that we should adapt the technology in a way that does not destroy our roots, because literature has very deep roots in a culture, in a society's culture, in a society's demographic. And I am all in for learning the technology. I'm all in from benefiting from the technology, because what the Muslim world and what Asians have been doing for a longer period of time, that we have been defying the technological advancements, and we've always been left behind because we did not adopted that particular technology at the right time. But then again, as a moral responsibility, we should adapt the technology in a way that we do not destroy our roots, and we do not destroy the literature the culture, and the beauty and the essence of that thing which was created for a specific kind of a purpose. So my message to people is that keep on listening to all the radio shows, and keep on listening to your show as well, and get education and get knowledge from wherever you can get it. There are a lot of sources of information present on internet these days, and I believe that wherever you can get the knowledge from, you should get it. But then again, you should keep your research broadened. You shouldn't be listening to one particular kind of an opinion, because nowadays we have a lot of opinions available as well. And you should have your own opinion as well. You know, you should listen to a lot of opinions, then extract it, and then use your own brain, use your own research, and have your own opinion as well.
Use your own intelligence,
yes,
rather than that artificial intelligence.
Yes,
In
yes.
that case, you have to use your own intelligence.
Brain.
And with that wonderful message, we come to the end of our special broadcast on World Radio Day today. And we have learned that how smart the world becomes. It is the human voice, it is the human element that connects us all. And we are genuinely grateful to our guest, Joveria Rubab, who has enlightened us on the various angles and aspects of the AI with respect to radio. And listeners, this was all from our today's broadcast. This is your host Imad Kasir signing off, and until next time, keep listening to Human Voice, keep that alive. Khuda Hafiz.
ये रेडियो पाकिस्तान पॉडकास्ट है।